You're listening to Fourth and Inches on Spreaker Web Radio, presented by Bayou State Pawn and Jewelry and Bayou Bark. Now here are the hosts, Nick Lott and Armando Ramirez.
Fourth and Inches is on for a Wednesday. Nick Lott, Armando Ramirez in the house. Football season, it's finally August, so football season's right around the corner. We have a lot to get to in the show today. Heisman hopefuls, big games, power rankings, so it's just going to be a jam-packed show.
Yeah, we are so excited. It's August, and every time August rolls around, everybody gets pumped up for NFL, college football, and it's right about that time. We're so pumped. We're about to go to college. We're about ready to talk about.
It's about to go off.
It's about to go on, and what we've been doing so far has just been a
Once we get into the season, shows are going to be a lot better because as of right now, everything's a prediction.
Exactly.
We haven't seen any of these teams play yet. Once the teams play, we're going to be able to tell you a little bit more about them, what we think about them. So it's just going to bring more. Yeah, it's just going to bring more into the show. But
what we've been doing right now has basically been like a preview, of the
season.
Just
exactly.
A short little preview of a bigger show that's going to be going on during the football season.
And we will be doing that show more often, just depending on what we have to do school-wise. But hopefully we can do it 2-3 times a week if we're lucky.
Yeah.
But at least once.
Twice. At least twice.
At least twice, hopefully 3 times.
Week,
Yeah. But storylines going in, starting off with big games. A lot of people are going to be paying attention to this one. The first game of the season, Texas Tech. I combined the two teams that I'm looking at here.
It's okay.
Texas A&M with new coach Kevin Sumlin, whole new offense, controversy at the quarterback position. They go to Ruston to play Louisiana Tech. And personally, Texas A&M, if they win 6 games this year, that is a great accomplishment.
Yeah.
And Louisiana Tech is a team that doesn't get a whole lot of credit coming out of the WAC. They're a lot better than people give them credit for. Definitely going to be a great game to kick off the start of the college football season.
Exactly. What we're going to be doing right now is we're going to be going from the start of the college football season, first week. This is a Thursday game. We're going to give you Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So first off, kicking it off Thursday, Texas A&M, Louisiana Tech. Of course, A&M going into the SEC. This is a nice little warm-up game for them.
Before Florida comes to town.
Exactly, and before their first real SEC challenge comes to town. So it should be a nice little warm-up. It should be a nice challenge for them. It should be, because Louisiana Tech is not, they're more like a sleeper team.
You never know. I mean,
exactly. In college football, you never know what's going to happen. Anything can happen in college football.
The first game of the year always seems to be when the most upsets happen. I mean, James Madison beat Virginia Tech last year, and someone beat a really big name team like 2 years ago on opening weekend. So you can just never tell. In a game that I'm really kind of excited to watch because it's the Friday game, Boise State playing Michigan State, and I think that's going to be a really good game because granted, Boise State did start off the season last year against Georgia, and they ended up beating them.
But Georgia wasn't.
Georgia
was a major. How do I say this? Georgia was a major bust last year, so everybody was high on Georgia. But now, after they lost to Boise, they lost a whole bunch of other games, so it diminished the big name that Boise had on their schedule.
Right.
Because they didn't live up to par, and they weren't an elite college football team last year.
And Michigan State, a really good team coming out of the Big Ten. That's going to be a very hard-fought game.
Boise finally gets
they finally start the season off with their actual opponent.
A big name opponent.
And then they're in the Big East this year, so that's going to be interesting to see how that all goes down with some better teams than they were playing in the WAC. But
Does the Big East get an automatic qualifier?
yes,
Okay, so I mean, it will probably be a little bit more interesting. Let's see if Boise State, now that they have a bigger conference, that they're in a bigger conference, an automatic qualifier, see what they can do, and hopefully they won't get into any BCS games. But we'll just we'll see how it goes.
and then big games on Saturday. You have
Of course.
you have Alabama playing Michigan in the Georgia Dome. No, that's not in the Georgia Dome.
No, it's not.
It's in Dallas. Tennessee plays North Carolina State in the Georgia Dome in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. We both ate at Chick-fil-A today, and so eat more chicken. But Alabama playing Michigan. It's going to be with the defensive starters that Alabama lost. It's really going to be interesting to see how they. I mean, obviously with camps and practices going on, 2-a-days just started all around the country. You're gonna have time to work out the kinks, but it's completely different when the cameras are rolling and game time comes around.
Exactly. The first big college football Saturday of the year. Can't wait for that. Alabama versus Michigan. It's going to be interesting to see Denard Robinson, what he can do against the Alabama defense, Nick Saban defense. And, of course, Denard Robinson is a really decorated quarterback. He can run the ball, pass the ball. He's a really good quarterback.
Great dual threat.
Exactly. So it's interesting to see what the Michigan offense can do with against the Alabama defense.
And the key to Michigan's success last year was the head coach Brady Hoke coming in, changing things up. A lot of people didn't expect him to do what he did. They won 9 games last season in his first year, and I easily think they can go 10-2 in the regular season. As for this first game of the year, I can't really pick a winner right now. Maybe
in a couple weeks.
Yeah, give us a couple weeks once everything starts kind of rolling. We'll figure something out.
We'll do prediction shows.
I mean, you got to think that Alabama would be favored in that game.
But they win the national championship. Anytime you win the national championship, you got to be favored. But they cannot take Michigan lightly because that is going to be a hell of a game.
Exactly. Michigan's a top 10 team. Alabama sits at number 2 in the AP rankings. LSU at 1, kicking off their season against North Texas at home. That should be an easy win, working up a big for a big season in the SEC. And a really big game coming up for the Penn State Nittany Lions amidst all the scandals with the whole Jerry Sandusky thing. I heard that at one point, even when the sanctions came out that the NCAA put on, Penn State was a 15 or 16 point favorite, and with all the players leaving, transferring, they've dropped all the way down to a 6-point favorite at home against Ohio, not Ohio State, Ohio.
And what did you like? There has been a lot going on with Penn State. Like now they're putting names on the back of their jerseys now. Yeah. To try and get away from the old Penn State. They're trying to get it into the new Penn State. The new Penn State with the numbers on the back of the jerseys. Maybe they'll change up the helmets, but I mean, they're really trying to start off new and fresh with their coach Bill O'Brien, and they're trying to do everything new, and they're trying to refrain from thinking of the past when they play football anymore. It's the new Penn State.
And then another really big game, Miami against Boston College on opening Saturday. It's going to be in. I haven't really read up on either of these teams because we haven't done anything related to the ACC, but
it's a really nice ACC matchup.
Right off the bat.
Exactly, right off the bat. It's really nice. The U versus Boston College should be a great game to watch on ESPN.
And then rounding out the day on Saturday, Clemson versus Auburn should be a really good game. Definitely expect Auburn to come into the season without that whole quarterback controversy that they had last year. That season was a lot rougher on them than their record implicated. I mean, they lost Cam Newton, and Cam Newton did great things in the NFL in his rookie season, but once you lose a guy like that, that's such a huge part of your offense, you can't help but have a year that's kind of set back.
Yeah, and I mean every college football team has that year. You lose except for maybe Alabama or LSU and those big programs, every team has that. Every team has those years where you lose a couple big guys and you're in the hole, or you're not having the best season that you could possibly have because you need a rebuild, kind of like a rebuild in professional sports. You need to rebuild that talent and you need to re-recruit good talent to come back on the team.
And then rounding out the first week of play, the only game on Sunday is Baylor against SMU. Nick Florence taking over the reins of the offense that Art Briles runs. Baylor's defense is improved over last year, which really wasn't that hard to do. They had to be close to Texas Tech as far as points given up per game. But Nick Florence stepping into the role of quarterback when Robert Griffin left to go to the pros. And Nick Florence, I think he can do really big things against Baylor. He's no Robert Griffin. Robert Griffin, by far the most electrifying player in the country last year, obviously winning the Heisman. Nothing but great things to say about the guy, but it kind of Nick Florence has really big shoes to fill, but I think he can do it. I don't think they'll go 10-3 again just because
They don't have the power.
Exactly. I mean, they lose Kendall Wright to the Titans. They lose Robert Griffin to the Redskins. That's a huge part of your
exactly.
That's a huge part of your offense. Losing Terrence Ganowis, starting running back too. I mean, it's three big guys that helped make Baylor what it was last year.
Right.
I mean, Lanier Sampson and Terrence Williams, who made the catch against OU at the end of the game, they're coming back, but it's going to be interesting to see what Baylor does this season.
Yeah, and I mean, this could be considered kind of like an Auburn thing, where you might have to take a year to refresh yourself and rebuild all your talent, because they are losing major pieces of their team last year with Robert Griffin and Kendall Wright and all the one-two punch that they had. So it is going to be interesting to see what Baylor can do without Robert Griffin and without the Kendall Wrights of the world. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. 4th and Inches. Stay tuned.
Listening to 4th and Inches on Spreaker Web Radio, presented by Bayou State Pawn and Jewelry, Bayou Bark, and RDM Audio. Now here are the hosts, Nick Lott and Armando Ramirez.
We are back, 4th and Inches Wednesday edition, college football breakdown, Spreaker Web Radio, back into it. We're going to go to the top 5 Heisman contenders on the season. Armando, take it away.
All right, so we got top 5 Heisman hopefuls for the season. We're going to start it off number 5 with Aaron Murray, quarterback for Georgia. Everybody was talking about the performances of Tyler Wilson in the same conference last year, and it was really kind of a thing where you could also put Aaron Murray in that top echelon of quarterbacks in the SEC, maybe even the best quarterback in the FCC. If his line can hold up this year, he has a great chance to compete. And, I mean, last year he had a great season with 3,149 yards and 35 touchdowns. So he has all the tools. He's ready to have a great season. He has two great running backs, Isaiah Crowell and true freshman Keith Marshall. So if he puts it all together, they really don't have a tough schedule by what the SEC is. The SEC is the greatest football league in college football. So on SEC standards, they really don't have a big difficult schedule. So he has all the talent, all the tools to put it together. It's only a matter of time, and we just got to see if he puts it together this year. What do you have to say about that?
The thing about Aaron Murray is, one thing I am going to correct you on is Isaiah Crowell got kicked off the team for getting arrested, so he transferred. So he's not going to be there.
Oh, okay.
But Aaron Murray, a really kind of underrated guy last season. A lot of people overlooked the fact that he got his team into the FCC championship game, and like Armando said,